San Diego History Center is getting a historic artifact, a hand press. And for all you millennials out there, there was a time when you had to press
before this thing, before this gadget,
to make papers.
And why is this important? Well, all thanks to Papa Doug Manchester. Tell us how Papa Doug got involved in all of this.
Good morning, Brad.
Well, good morning, guys. This is neat. You know, we're in the History Center. This is the history of San Diego. We are celebrating 100 years. We're doing a lot throughout the park and stuff. And one thing that's very important is how do we get our newspapers and our information through something like this right here. And this is what's so cool about this. It came from Papa Doug, and he said he wanted to make sure that this was here, stayed in San Diego, especially after he sold the UTC, to show kids. And it's kids. We're talking about those 30-year-old kids, because some don't realize that. So we get to say that. But this is great that he gave this here to you guys.
Yeah, so, I mean, looking at this thing, you really got to realize, like all of us who use word processors now and how easy it is to move type around, you had to set this type. You had to set it down, and it wasn't moving. It's iron letters and it's iron blocks, and that once it's pressed, it's pressed. And so, I mean, the fact that this is how, you know, news spread, this is how information spread back in the day, really makes you realize like how far we've come. And the other thing, now with the sale of the UT to the LA Times Group, now we don't have actual printing presses or a news press in San Diego, so this is even more representative of where we came from, because this is modeled after the very first press that began printing the San Diego Herald in 1851.
Wow, this is amazing. And before, of course, Mr. Manchester got it, it belonged to the Copley family, who had the paper, and they had brought it in as a beautiful icon. But again, it's just amazing how this is. And we were talking about this. This is steel. This is like solid, rock hard, you know, iron printing.
Yeah, no, and I mean, you know, now everything's made out of plastic, or if it's even made at all, it's usually just digital. And so this gives you an idea of like what people had to work with. This thing took two men. They'd lay the type, they'd put the paper down, get the ink across the markers, and then two guys would have to pull this giant lever here just to get ink to push through the paper. It did about 175 sheets an hour. Our copier upstairs does that in a minute. So.
Oh my goodness! Wow, that's a lot of work. Let's talk about the History Center.
Yep.
A lot going on here. 100 of roaring going on.
Yeah, most people know the San Diego Zoo, but a lot of people don't know its history. And so here we are. It's in the History Center. We're celebrating 100 years of the San Diego Zoo. For those of you who don't know, the San Diego Zoo started as a afterthought of the Panama, California Exposition, with some leftover animals in cages along Park Boulevard, and here we are today with the most recognizable zoo on planet Earth.
I like it. You got to come down here. It's really cool, and especially on Fridays when they have the Food Truck Fridays going on. It's really neat. So come through the park, come through the museums, go enjoy food trucks and music and stuff, and then go off to the Old Globe and watch a show. So a lot happening here in Balboa Park during the summertime, Carlos and Lisa. So get down here, enjoy. And with it being hot out, there's free air conditioning in here. You don't have to get charged for the air conditioning. I'll come in here and sit all day.
Smart.
Well,
smart. Forget the movie here. Just go down to the museums.
Yeah.
There was one little
and learn.
There was one little fact that's I think also interesting about that press, is not only did they set the type by hand, but they had to set it backwards, so that the paper came out
the right way.
So you could,
so you could read it.
So like a mirror image. So if you look at the way the type is set, you imagine having to set that stuff just exactly right, but backwards. Each one of those little pieces was set by hand.
Unbelievable. Imagine
cool?
having to be the journalist at the time. How early do you have to get your copy in? Now we like throw it in at the last second.
Deadline? What deadline?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Now we're like, whatever.
Oh, man.
Back then, there was a hard
cool.
deadline.
What a cool machine. That's great to have it here. All right, Brad.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
That.